Silicon Valley is the new American dream. It's where companies are born and millionaires are made. Like many of you, I was part of that dream. Before coming to the GSB, I was an executive at Cisco and then went on to work for a venture-backed startup. But I'd like to start with a much simpler dream, the dream of my grandparents, Antonio and Nicolasa. They dreamt of running water, electricity, and indoor plumbing, things they didn't have in their small village in Mexico. So they moved to the United States in search of a better life, where they became migrant farm workers who harvested the fields right here in Silicon Valley before it became Google, Apple, and Facebook. But as you know, the fields disappeared. And when that happened, my family transitioned to roles that provide the backbone of this valley. The people who clean your homes, the people who take out your trash, and the people who even take care of your children. One morning before school, I got up really early to go with my grandparents to work. I walked into the bathroom to help my grandmother clean, and I had never seen such a mess before. My grandmother saw the look on my face, and she explained how important this job was, that it would allow us to put food on the table. She encouraged me to take pride in my work, to make that bathroom as sparkling clean as I could make it. My grandmother, who had a 4th grade education, taught me that day to approach each and every task with dignity and with grit. In Silicon Valley, venture capitalists are in search of the next billion-dollar startup, the elusive unicorn. Well, people from my neighborhood, we have a very different definition of what a unicorn is. I grew up in East San Jose, about 20 miles south of here. When I think of home, I think of my grandmother's yellow kitchen. I think of the scent of her homemade tortillas. And I think of the sounds of mariachi music. As a little girl, I loved to play outside. And one day, I managed to sneak out when no one was looking and was happily playing in the garden when out of the corner of my eye, I saw my grandmother running towards me. She scooped me into her arms and, like many Mexican grandmothers, scolded me in Spanish and then made the sign of the cross. You see, my grandmother knew that although our neighborhood was very beautiful, it could also be very dangerous. It meant walking home from school and having a gun pulled on you. It meant being peer pressured to join a gang. It meant having a baby when you were a baby. My family wasn't immune to this, sadly. And of my 20 cousins, only 10 graduated from high school. And only 3 of us would go on to graduate from college. This isn't unique to my family, but is happening to Latino families across the country. Latinos with college degrees, these are the unicorns. In Silicon Valley, technology has been booming all around us. It's been creating tremendous opportunity and wealth. It's been exciting. And my family's been able to take part of a little piece of it. My younger brother, Lico, is one of the smartest guys I know. It would really frustrate me when I was stuck on my physics homework assignment and he would manage to solve it effortlessly. He's the kind of guy who loved to take things apart and put them back together. He was a natural engineer. My brother is also a high school dropout, and he became a dad when he was 17 years old. My brother was able to turn his life around, to go back to school and find a job working in manufacturing for a local tech company. Because of that opportunity, he was able not only to provide for his family, but also for me. And one summer, my brother gave me his paychecks so that I could live in Paris and study at the Sorbonne. That simple act of generosity and love put me on a different track. It's the reason I'm here with all of you. But even with that college degree, my path to a career in technology was very different than the path that many of you took. It was a hustle. I worked at 3 different temporary agencies before I landed that first job at Cisco. And I will never forget receiving that offer letter and being so excited, not only what it meant for me, but what it meant for my family. But the bubble burst. The manufacturing jobs went away. My brother lost his job. Other people in my family lost their jobs. My parents couldn't afford their home anymore, so they looked to me, the one with the good job, to help. That entry-level salary at Cisco barely covered 1/3 of their mortgage. So my parents moved to Central California, back to the fields where it all began. The Silicon Valley dream, it was out of reach for them. While this area has been growing at record pace, communities like East San Jose have been suffering one setback after the other. Loss of jobs, loss of homes, and lack of upward mobility. This isn't just my problem, it's our problem. Latinos represent one of the fastest growing groups in the country. This is expected to project a $1.5 trillion opportunity. Think about that. I bet you didn't know that Latinos have this beautiful entrepreneurial spirit. They start businesses at record rate. Within my family alone, there have been 5 businesses that have been started. So why, if Latinos are starting businesses at record rate, why aren't we able to capitalize on them? Professor Jerry Porras here at the GSB has been studying this very phenomenon as part of the Stanford Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative. And one of the things that he's discovered is that Latinos lack access to mentors. As one of the few people from my neighborhood who had a career in technology, I knew how important it was to go back. So I went to the schools I attended and volunteered. I hosted events at local libraries. I even started a small scholarship fund. Through this work, I met Carlos. Carlos had just finished his freshman year at Harvard. When I asked Carlos what his plans were for the summer, he looked at me and said that he was going to work construction with his dad. When I asked, Carlos, have you thought of an internship? He said, Xochitl, I would love an internship, but I have no idea where to begin. Carlos was one of the lucky ones at one of the leading institutions in this country, and yet even he was struggling to navigate this business landscape. I knew how that felt, but more importantly, I knew how to help him find that internship. People like Carlos may not have the polished resume. They may not have the pedigree, but what they do have is dignity, grit, and that entrepreneurial spirit. What they're missing is opportunity. So what I'd like to ask each of you is that you either are or will become leaders in business in this valley and across the world. Please look again at people from a different path. Hire them, mentor them. Imagine the impact that all of us could have on communities like East San Jose if we add opportunity to the equation. Thank you.